Hi, my name is Zenith Faruqi, and for my cross-gendered hobby project, I decided to play Gran Turismo 4, the real driving simulator, on PlayStation 2.
You've got this new head filled up with smoke, and I got my veins all tangled close to the jukebox.
Video games were predominantly for the opposite gender due to a number of reasons. The first reason is that video games were created by men for men, so they were marketed towards men. And 88.5% of designers are men. So you pretty much have men designing for men. And society is less accepting of female gamers. And female characters in video games wear very revealing clothes, so that turns off women from playing, even though it turns on the men. Women's past participation in the past was low. Females were not understood by the male game developers. In 1990, male game developers created games for girls focusing on things that girls are supposed to like, such as fashion, pink, and dress up. And since girls are supposed to like these three kinds of things, they thought that the games would do well. But much to their surprise, the games seriously flopped. An example of a game like this is Chop Suey, which was made in 1995. Women's current participation. Today, 38% of all gamers are adult females. In 2011, the Supreme Court ruled against the ban of selling violent M-rated games to minors. There was a 7-2 vote against the ban. They wanted to vote against the ban because they said that the ban violated the First Amendment. There has been a lack of historical changes in past participation. One of the reasons is because game designers work about 80 hours a week, and female game designers can't handle balancing their work and life schedule. And finally, the women leave. And because you have less women in the gaming designing field, you have more males. So the males keep making games targeted towards males. And another reason is because less women are trying to get computer science degrees. So you have less women in the computer designing field. Male norms include being tough, aggressive, taking control, being violent, and being heterosexual. Many video games are violent, and therefore males take interest in violent games because that's according to their norms. And they also really like inappropriately dressed female characters that are featured in video games. Like Paikia, I was going against tradition when I was playing Gran Turismo 4 because video games like that are targeted towards men. And I also thought that I would not be accepted by males because they would think it's weird if a female is playing video games that were traditionally towards men. However, I was actually accepted towards the end, just like Paikia was accepted towards the end by her people. I also felt like a liberal feminist while I was playing Gran Turismo 4 because I wanted to be able to play a male game, and I also wanted equality between both sexes. There were a number of reasons why I didn't participate in playing video games before. The first reason was because they just seemed boring, and a lot of games are pretty violent, so I was not interested in that. I also wasn't interested in cars, sports, the typical video game. I just thought they were pretty much a waste of time, and I would rather find new music online than waste hours playing video games. There were a number of constraints that held me back from playing video games in the past. The first one was a lack of time. Then the next was, I just thought the video games were way too difficult for me and that I wouldn't be able to play them. Then the last constraint is that none of my friends played video games, and I just didn't want to be stuck at home playing them by myself. This picture is a snapshot of what my TV screen looked like just after I was awarded the bronze medal for successfully completing a license test within the allotted time limit. By the time I completed my 3rd week of licensing, I had received 4 bronze trophies. It took me about 2 hours to gain these trophies, but it was definitely time well spent. By the end of my 4th week of licensing, I received 5 more trophies. The cool part is, one of them was a silver. I was really excited that I got a silver because I was lucky to even just get a bronze trophy. So that was a really good experience for me, and I was really happy that I got a silver trophy. So now I had about 9 trophies in total, which is pretty exciting. This is a picture of the first silver trophy that I ever received in this game. And I would have to say that this is definitely a miracle because I wasn't even expecting a bronze. So I am amazed that I even got a silver. By the end of my 5th week of licensing, I was so surprised that I was almost done with the licensing process. I only had about 3 more tests to complete, so I was really excited that I was going to accomplish something in this game. By the end of my 6th week of licensing, I had finally completed the entire beginning licensing process. It took me about 7 to 8 hours to complete all of the licensing tests and to receive all the trophies. It was definitely a lot of hard work, but I must say that it was very rewarding and a lot of fun at the same time. Even though playing Gran Turismo was really fun, I also had to face many challenges. For example, I had to practice using the steering wheel because it was very difficult for me to control my car. And also, it was difficult to pass many of the licensing tests, because if I brake too much, I would not be making the time, because I would be spending too much time braking. And therefore, I had to retry many of the tests to try to pass them. And I even spent an hour and a half on one test in an effort to get a bronze medal. I experienced many emotions and feelings while I was playing Gran Turismo 4. For example, I was happy when I was awarded trophies for successfully completing licensing tests. On the other hand, I was nonchalant when I failed the tests. I was even bored at times during the tests. However, I was wanting to earn more and more trophies after I was awarded with some trophies. At the end, I felt really accomplished after becoming certified. Males are traditionally interested in violence and aggressive games because violence and aggression is one of the male norms. And women's norms include being delicate, nonviolent, and passive, and therefore they don't really play games traditionally. If I were given the opportunity to participate in playing video games again, I would definitely participate, especially in Gran Turismo 4 because I'm interested in racing now. And while I was playing Gran Turismo 4, I only became licensed. I didn't really get a chance to actually race. So now I want to put my newfound skill to use. And I also want to earn money in the game and buy more cars.